Good day, Lightsaber addicts. Today, for Fighting Friday, we're going to do some tips on lightsaber dueling. And this isn't the choreographed duels, this is the real duels that you'll see online and stuff like that. So, where do we start? Well, the first and most important piece of information is this first one is wear safety equipment. It's really important to protect yourself and your dueling partner. It's just a fact. You need to be protected. Bones can and they will break, especially your fingers. You also need to take care of your head. So just like all of us and the best of us, we can misplace our sabers and it could go into someone's skull. And definitely don't want that. You don't want a broken nose, broken fingers, broken anything. So if you're going to take any of my advice today, wear safety equipment. And if you're not or you can't afford the whole kit, then I at least recommend the minimum of the headgear and the hand protection. For hand protection, I either use hockey gloves, which are thicker but can slightly impede your movement, or the lacrosse gloves, which has a little bit less padding but you have a bit more movement. For head protection, you can use a fencing helmet, and that's what I really do recommend is using, but we can't all afford a fencing helmet, so I also have hockey helmet with the cage in front. Just a note that a thrust with a saber can go through the cage. So just note that. But it is really good for protection otherwise. Another tip I have for everyone is use a simple hilt when you're dueling. There's no need for fancy hilts. For example, something like this looks all fancy, but it's really heavy. Also, a Dark Menace from Ultra Sabers is light enough, but the grooves here can cut when you're really in the mood and you're really going for it. Now, if you're wearing hand protection, it's not so bad, obviously, but the grooves can get stuck to the material. So just watch it. I recommend, again, a simple hilt. For example, an Apprentice, you still got everything you need, but it's not all fancy, and you won't hurt yourself or someone else. My next tip is when you're actually dueling, move your body and your saber at all times. Don't just stand there, move around. Don't just have your saber still, have it moving around. Keep your dueling partner guessing where you'll be and where you're going to strike. That's one of the best things that you can do. As you're moving your body, keep your knees bent a bit, just slightly, so that you can react more quickly to your opponent's swing or to strike your opponent when the opening presents itself. So, two hands or one hand? Well, two hands give you better gripping and is good for hard strikes. But one hand gives you better length and accuracy at times. So for example, hopefully you can see, two hands, and when I put my hand straight out, all right, now if I go with one hand, I can reach further. So it depends on your style. I use a combination of both. So maybe the combination of the two will throw your partner off their game. If you have to pick one or the other, I'd say stick with one-handed because you'll have better length and you'll be able to hit your partner hopefully before they hit you. When you're using one hand, do a lot of orbiting, and that's when you're swinging it around and stuff like that. Just keep the flow going. It'll keep your opponent guessing where you're going to strike. So those are some of the tips that I have for you. If you like this video, I definitely have more tips. Just let me know in the comments if you'd like a second video on tips for your dueling, and I can definitely do that for you guys. So take care. Have an awesome day. Bye. You could follow us at our social media on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon. Thank you for all the support.